Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if everybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us in the challenge and get access to an exclusive in-depth strategy video for as little as $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In the previous video we did a stock update on ticker symbol HDK and also an update on ticker symbol MULN, so please refer back to the previous video for updates on both stocks. Today's video we're also going to be looking at ticker symbol HDK, but also with a point of view from a bit more of a deep dive, and we're also going to be doing an update on ticker symbol MMTLP with a focus on its status going forward as a private company and what this may mean, what are some of the benefits and advantages of that. So before we make a start on that, let's have a look at what's happening in the markets today. So headline here from Yahoo Finance, Wednesday 3rd of August 2022. Stocks roll back after a significant amount of losing days. So this is good. The S&P was up at approximately 1.2% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained more than 300 points and up approximately 1%, and the Nasdaq Composite was up in excess of 2%. So overall positive signs for the market. So I'm going to start by having a look at ticker symbol HKD. So the key thing I want to focus on in this video is a little bit more of a deep dive, and I'm going to start by looking at why has this relatively unknown company behaved in a way that we've not seen in the market for a long time in terms of the returns. They have been phenomenal. But I'm going to share with you here a headline from Business Wire, and this headline is dated July the 15th, 2022. So if you remember in our stock alerts, and I mentioned in the previous video, this was a stock that we called in the Discord exclusively on the 18th and the 19th of July when it was trading around about $21. But let's see what we can pick up from this headline here on July the 15th. So we can see here, key thing we can find is in terms of the IPO underwriters, what's happened is they allocated approximately 60 million shares to the brokers, and the clients flipped the IPO and sold the shares. So in effect they sold the shares to the IPO underwriters, never delivered the shares, and obviously what's happened is this has ultimately created short positions. So what I'm now going to do is have a look at the chart for today, and I'm sure many of you are aware that the stock was down quite significantly today. At one point it was down close to 45%, but if you have a look at the RSI just before the power hour at the end, it was touching 20, so it was extremely oversold. And then we had a very strong bounce back when the price was touching $1,000. So from that $1,000 it has rallied up a little bit there, and it's gone up to closing at $1,150. However, in terms of the price that we saw earlier this week, $2,500, quite a significant move down from there, and certainly I'm hoping people were not buying at $2,500 and bag holding. That is certainly not something that should have been happening. Many of the people who invested in this company did not know anything and still do not know anything about this company. And just a few days ago, even myself, I was not aware of this company and did not really know anything about them. But let's now have a look at in terms of their company profile from the investor relations page. So on the screen here from the company official website, we can see that the company is a leading Hong Kong headquartered comprehensive financial institution. According to a CIC report, they're also the #1 independent investment banking firm in Asia. And obviously they've got in terms of the number of staff, we know that approximately 51, so it's not a huge company. It's an independent asset management firm in Asia, and obviously one of the few financial firms majority owned and managed by local Hong Kong entrepreneurs. So obviously we know about the IPO, we know about the share price in terms of what happened. So let's now have a look at a bit more of a deeper dive. So let's summarize what we can see from the website. We can see here that the company provides investment banking, asset management services to clients on an international basis. The other thing I'm sure most people will now be aware of is the company has raised $125 million with the New York IPO, and this is the largest listing by a Chinese company in 2022. It also owns the SpiderNet platform. So that's really more or less a summary in terms of the website and the company profile that we can see and pick up from there. So on its debut, the company had a reasonably high price to earnings ratio. This was approximately 18 higher than the average Chinese company of around about 5. However, once we saw this trade at around about $2,555, that PE ratio went up to a staggering 13,160. So again, almost unknown in the stock market. The market cap was at one point more than 386.745 million, so in excess of 3 billion, placing it above at one point also Exxon and very, very close to McDonald's. So according to the recent filing, we know it's only approximately 51 employees. Revenue is very negligible, and it's owned, in terms of the company, it's owned by AMT Idea Group, which has also had quite a significant rise that we saw yesterday. So let's now have a look at a summary in terms of what's happening with regard to this staggering run and mysterious run. So in terms of an explanation, it doesn't actually make any sense, doesn't make traditional sense. There was low volume, and then that didn't really explain what was going on. The PE ratio was defying all market rules, expectations and guidelines. The market cap doesn't make sense. And obviously it's a company that was on one point the 14th largest company in the world with regard to market cap. So the revenue slowing from 10x to just 4% does not justify the run at all. So obviously a lot of people made money, significant amount of money in this, so certainly good luck to everybody there. But the danger is, I think many people will also lose a lot of money in this, which is also unfortunate and also one of the risks of trading on the stock market. And finally, I'm going to finish off by giving a shout out to No Hope Capital, who's nicely summarized what everybody knows and what everybody may well be thinking, and that is, this story is not going to end well. So what we've seen in this stock, it is, in my opinion, unprecedented, and I think an accurate valuation for this company would certainly be a price of around $10. Let's now have a look at ticker symbol MMTLP. So after a number of videos with regard to the focus being on FUD, today the good news is we can see the price is up significantly, in excess of 6.23%. And at time of editing, it was trading at around about $1.45. So this is good. We are getting nearer and nearer to approval of S1. So why has the price why have we seen a good increase and return in the price today? So one reason on the screen here, you'll see earnings season. With regard to earnings season, we've seen obviously very strong and positive earnings from many of the energy companies. BP profits were phenomenal. A lot of the oil companies also did exceptionally well. So we have been seeing record profits. One of the reasons for this is obviously the huge increase in the price of oil and gas. Finally, this is hopefully what I would like everybody to be doing once the S1 is approved, is waking up, checking the price of MMAT, checking the price of MMTLP, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's what we need to do. And to finish off with regard to MMTLP, what I'm going to look at in today's video is the status and what it means to be a C corporation. So if you remember in the previous video when we were looking at the FUD, there are a number of people out there who are stating that NextBridge is going to be public, it's going to be tradable, it's going to be on the OTC. So that creates fear because everybody knows it will be extremely shorted and we will probably get a price just in pennies. So that's not going to happen. What's going to happen, it's going to be a private company. Private companies cannot be shorted. It's going to be a C corporation, in my opinion. So let's have a look at what C corporation is. It's a legal structure of a corporation where the owners, shareholders are taxed separately from the entity. So we as investors, we as holders of the shares will be the owners. So the management team will be working for us. The company belongs to us, but obviously they make the decisions. So in terms of taxation, it's going to be separate. So remember in the previous video we talked about creating double taxation situation, what that basically means. Taxing of profits from the business at both corporate and personal levels. But if anybody has some fear with regard to taxation, no need to worry, because the company is not generating enough revenue to pay all the costs and have a net profit. So that is not going to be a situation to worry about, because the company will not pay tax because they're not making enough profit to pay tax. In terms of the other thing, obviously they have limited liability. The assets will be separate from the owners. So obviously in terms of the key takeaways at the bottom there, separate owners of shareholders' assets and income, that's fairly standard. Limit the liability of investors and owners, since they most you can lose is your investment in the shares. So that, again, normal practice there. And C corporations are mandated to hold annual meetings and have a board of directors that is voted by shareholders. So we will have a right to vote for the board of directors. And finally, what I'm going to look at is how is NextBridge going to work as a corporation. So obviously it's going to pay corporate taxes on any earnings, but I don't expect any earnings. I think it's just there as a private company to be sold. So in terms of the remaining amounts to shareholders, obviously they can pay dividends if they are applicable. And the other thing is they're required to hold, as I said before, one meeting a year. We will have the opportunity there to vote for any directors. They will also be required to file annual reports. So as shareholders, we will get access to these financial statements. And finally, in terms of formation, they choose a register and they choose to register an unregistered business name. So we have that name, which is NextBridge. Registration will file the articles of incorporation. We've seen that in the previous video, so that has already been done. At the moment, we have George as the president, but there will be a new management team. In the next video, I will then look at some of the advantages and further details with regard to benefits, and also dive a little bit deeper into taxation. Finally, if anybody would like to get access to the Discord where we have live trading discussions and share due diligence for stocks live as well, and you can also join us in the challenge. So details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.